God, it's going to be one of them days.
It's just one of those days.
The Matrix is
Yeah.
the godfather of mind bending.
It's as far as like plot, yeah. Because when I was trying to think of how I was going to approach this idea or whatever, kind of solidify it in my head. I mean, yeah, I thought Matrix. That kind of just thinking about what the Matrix is totally mind bending, and so much. It's so in the zeitgeist. Like people are always saying now that we're living in a
simulation. We're living in a simulation.
Yeah.
They say. Which
people believe it.
Yeah. But
and I don't know if I don't.
It's not some super intelligent human being running in an experiment that is the simulation. But what's the difference between a simulation and reality?
That at the end of the day, that's what what's his face? What's his name? Worm? The guy who's eating steak at the end.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
He makes the deal and he says it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It tastes, it feels real.
Right.
I know this steak doesn't exist. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Because that's all it is. It's human perception is reality.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody else, they used to say when I was younger, maybe even longer, that like, well, do you ever think like everybody else is a robot? You're the only human.
Yeah, apparently, and that's it. It gives a deep insight to your psychology if you think that way about the world.
But
because it gives you in your own mind's eye, it gives you importance. Because you're the only flesh and blood thing, if you believe that.
Well, in that way, but it wasn't looked at that way back then. It was just that, like, I mean, it kind of makes you paranoid. It kind of makes you, it's like, well, I'm the only living person. But in a way, everything that we...
Sometimes I'll just go to psych wards and yell that at everyone. See how they respond.
They never keep you. Get out. We're full. We've heard this before. But it's all... Everything is what is it? Electrochemical stimulation on our minds.
Yeah.
So if you're like someone who's seriously insane,
your perception is off.
Right.
So
but that's your reality. Yeah. And if you're just kind of, it's like, that, like you're seeing hallucinations, they're not real. But for some folks who are like more seriously mentally ill, their reality is completely removed from yours.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if your perception differs much from like, you and I, do we have the same, like,
yeah.
If I were to, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And here's another, just, like, little tidbit that affects people's eyesight can vastly change their perception of the world. Like, I have 20/20, so I can see your face pretty clearly, but imagine if you don't. I mean, I know there's glasses. It's just a slight little, like, that I think it's overlooked a lot.
Well, not only that, but for instance, like... Do me and you both see yellow the same way?
I've heard that one before.
Because you can't explain yellow to somebody. You can't explain the color.
Pointing to it.
Well, it's only comparatively. So you would have to assume that every color I see, you see exactly the same way. Mm-hmm. Your yellow could be my green. We don't know. We don't know other people's perception. Someday we might, but we don't.
Yeah, I just... that one never, like... messes with my head.
Well, you got to think about it more deeply.
I know, it's just like, because I know, I don't know, maybe you associate it so much, I don't know, like I can tell shades or hues of colors, and I don't know if that would get lost in translation if it was different from like, this is not red, but I can tell the hues of it that I'm like, okay, that's a shade of...
No, I don't mean that. You and I have no idea if, as I see yellow, you have no idea what color I'm actually seeing. You can't explain it. You can't explain yellow, other than comparing it to other colors, or it's the color of this. So the yellow school bus could be my blue to you.
Yeah,
you can't. There's no way to explain it.
The colors are defined by the way light reflects
Well,
off
yeah,
of
I
it.
know, I realize that, but
No,
our perception of it.
I get it. I get what you're saying. It just, in my mind, I have it in a steel box, and I'm not letting you in to disrupt how I look at colors.
Oh, The Godfather, Matrix, super guy movie. The one scene, they're unprecedented.
You're saying The Matrix is the Godfather of dad movies.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying both The Godfather and
no.
The Matrix.
No, God, Matrix. The scene, in the building when him and Trinity go in dressed completely in black, and they walk through the magnometer, and it's like beep beep beep, and they just go insane.
Yeah, that's a badass gunfight, choreography, everything. They just shoot the shit out of some concrete blocks, and yeah, that's cool as fuck. And that whole movie is very groundbreaking too for introducing simulation theory into film in a way that has stuck in the zeitgeist ever since.
Yeah.
There's still terminology used today revolving around
Glitch in the Matrix.
red pill, blue pilled. We're about an hour in, so I think it's okay to talk about just vaguely, and just because it's interesting, nothing else. But do you think the Matrix had any inspiration on Columbine? That scene specifically.
I'd heard about what they call them, the trench coat mafia. Mm-hmm. I heard that was not a real thing. That those two, I can't remember, Klebold, I think was the name of one of them. I just read this. It's so weird. I just read that all the different kind of theories regarding like why they did it and who they were and all that were not true. I think they just hated jocks, but I'm not sure. Because
they like created narratives that were really fucking weird. So it was 1999, April 20th, 1999. Remember that. I just want to see, when did Matrix come out? Because they talked about natural born killers in their writings a lot. They said we're natural born killers, which is the film written by Tarantino, directed by Roger Stone, I believe.
Yeah, that Woody Harrelson in.
And the chick. And it also has that comedian. Oh, can't get in any respect.
John Dangerfield.
Yeah, he's the dad of the woman who's dating Woody Harrelson.
Right. I never saw that movie.
So apparently March 31st, so that would have came out literally
just before it.
Yeah. And I wonder, because you see the tapes, which is where you first see the trench coats come out. I wonder when those were filmed, because it would have had to be fucking within like a couple week window of the shooting.
Okay.
If it were to be inspired by that. It's just, the thing is, it's long trench coats like they wore in The Matrix.
Right, yeah.
They talked about fat cats, which that's like a...
Old
it sounds like a noir reference.
No. That's almost like an Occupy Wall Street term.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking black and white film. Gangsters. Oh, the fat cats. I don't know what that...
That just means rich people.
Yeah, right. But to them, I know it's a term that's also used in regular people
Popular
speak.
people or the big men on campus or whatever.
They were using it, so I don't know. There's a rabbit hole when it comes to them. There was one of the kids, the ringleader, who was not the blonde one, but the brunette guy. He like broke some girl's windshield, and then they said like the cops and like the mayor like abused them like sexually whenever they got reprimanded for doing that.
Oh, really?
They said that. I don't fucking believe it. I think that they were just the type of, I was gonna say, bad word, but for them, I think you can use any slur
Yeah.
you like.
Yeah. No,
But,
they don't have a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Like Columbine was really upper middle class. It's a
I believe it.
I mean, I'm not saying that means anything. I'm just saying because I worked for a company that we used to go to schools, and he had Columbine as one of his schools. And after Columbine, it changed the security in schools everywhere. But anyway, Columbine was one of his schools, and he would go there and stuff like that. But it was a very well-to-do area for that school.
To me, it probably fits the narrative even with what we know now. There are school shootings that are like drug deals that count as a school shooting.
Yeah.
But then you have like the classic definition of what it is.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes more sense. It's the disillusioned people, a la Fight Club.
Yeah.
That it's like they think they deserve more than what they are getting now. And it doesn't matter if they're actually bullied, because apparently, like, the one kid wasn't bullied, and I think the other one might have, he did well with girls, but I think the friend who looked up to him didn't do well with girls. Yeah. And I think that might have been his motivation. He looked up to the other one.
In every high school, there's tons of those kids. I mean...
Yeah, they just don't...
They don't fit in.
Well, not even... They expect to be... Honestly, I think they had God complexes.
Oh, really?
And that's why they...
The one was real smart, I think, because he was going to take advanced calc the next year, and he was all excited about having gotten accepted to do that at a very good school, because it was a high standard school. So I didn't realize that they had that like delusions of grandeur.
That's what I think, at least, because they were looking at the death toll, and we've seen this in years following this, but they wanted to like
up it, get it
have high numbers.
Yeah.
So you're looking at infamy. They want infamy, but you have to look at why does one look at that? They felt they had been wronged. This is their revenge, and this will cement their place in history.
Yeah.
And I guess...
It did.
Yeah, I mean, we're still talking about them, but as losers. Because...
Yeah. But, well...
Now your bloodline ends.
Yeah.
And that's what you get when you're just... You think more than what you are. And rather than...
Oh, their death toll could have been, like, triple. They had pipe bombs.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, either they didn't work or they didn't use them or what.
I think they were too busy having homosexual sex with each other to set the timer correctly. If you ever watched Elephant, that's the one thing that movie by Gus Van Sant gets right, is he makes them butt buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but were they? I mean, you could do that, but...
They're willing to die for each other. I mean, I know in the military, but they're just... friends in high school.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they had similar crazy goals.
I think the one just looked up to the other one.
Yeah.
I think the blonde hair.
That's common when you have like
two. Yeah, there's one who's
dominant.
Yeah.
And the other one
submissive.
Yeah, I don't
figure it out.
It could be.
I'm not saying 100%, but I like to perpetuate that narrative.
Is that conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
I read about the book Columbine. I think I still have it. Wow, that's like 800 pages long. And as interesting as it is, I mean, I've read books about the Second World War that were shorter than this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much you can really talk about. But they talk about it.
I guess you could have every victim and bystanders.
I'd have to look back and see how they made it that long.
If they covered a lot of the two beforehand and all that, well, because there's a lot of tapes that that refuse to release to the public.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call them the basement tapes.
So they videotape themselves?
A lot, yeah, because they had that school project where the trench coat mafia was coined. Mm-hmm. and then they did home videos too as they were practicing, doing target practice, and then they went into their ideology as well, which that's the tapes that aren't released to the public. But
Why not? They
I don't know.
release all the manifestos of other people.
I know. I don't know. I guess they just.
I mean, I kind of understand why they don't want to, but it's in the public.
Yeah, I'm assuming they didn't. They just
Public,
didn't use it
whatever.
for evidence, and then you don't necessarily have to release it. Because I think
Yeah,
if you
but
used
the
it in the
thing's over.
trial,
What trial? They killed it. They got killed.
well, exactly. So it's just I don't know how that works.
Right.
Because otherwise, you would think they would have to release. You would
In the
think just
public interest. That's the term I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I mean,
To know why they
even
did it.
now, people would be interested to watch that. It'd make an incredible documentary. There isn't one already on that. I mean, that's a 5-part
Oh my
documentary.
god, yeah. You'd think the money men would get after that, but I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up, not to sully the name of the Matrix, because I like the Matrix. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I just thought as a discussion point it would be worthwhile.